All right. Can someone just unmute themselves and let me know if you are able to see the screen I'm sharing right now? Anyone?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Welcome everyone to our psychology presentation for the week of welcome, or for study abroad week, I should say. My name is Ben Briggs. I am a study abroad advisor at UNC. I've been here for about 4.5 years and have lots and lots of psychology programs in my region. So super used to sending psychology students abroad and really excited to kind of walk you through these programs. This shouldn't take longer than 30 minutes. And I will ask that you save your questions for the end, just so we can kind of have them all there. So if you don't mind just, taking notes and writing your questions down as we go along, that'll be really helpful. And then we can address them all at the end. All right, so moving forward, just a little bit about, studying abroad as a psychology major. What are some of the benefits there? Some of these are common sense, but maybe sometimes you don't think about them enough. So I'm here to kind of tell you about them. First of all, you can get ahead. I understand that it can be quite difficult sometimes to register for any courses at UNC, but specifically psychology courses. So registering for classes abroad through our study abroad program can often be a really, really great way to knock out some of your psychology major or minor requirements. And it kind of takes that stress off of you a little bit. Second, you do get some really wonderful experience. An example of this, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes here, is UNC Psychology at King's College London. Just through some of the excursions that the faculty take you on during this program, you really do get firsthand experience of just like living psychology. And it's really great. You get to see the history and go to films and go to plays and do walking tours that really show you the city, but also give you a very good sense of what you're studying there, which I think is fantastic. Third, you do gain really great experience when it comes to research and technology. Unfortunately, we aren't running this program in Australia this coming summer. However, I do promise it will be back in summer of 2023. So for those of you that can be patient and hold on for just a little bit, we will have this program ready for you in summer of 2023. And then last, it is a really good opportunity for you to cultivate relationships with some of these universities. I can tell you firsthand that I have sent psychology students over to the summer program at King's College London, and some of those students have gone on to study psychology at King's College London. A couple of years ago, a student who studied psychology went to Lancaster University. She then went there for her master's. We had another student at the University of Bristol go and do a master's in psychology. So you do really establish these ties, whether it be a short program or a semester program, that can lead to a really fruitful master's experience if you are interested in going abroad. Just, a couple of recommended programs. I want to really highlight before we talk about this, that this is not the list that you are limited to. Psychology is a really common major in lots and lots of different countries. As an example, again, I'm UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. In my region, most of my programs have quite good psychology coursework. So please don't feel like you're limited to these programs, but please also do know that these are some really good highlights. So I'm going to go over just a couple of them. The first one is UNC Psychology at King's College London. So this is a program that's been running for quite a long time, since well before my time, and it's really, really well established and really, really successful. This program will be running this summer. It's Psych 245, psychopathology. It's running with Dr. Charlie Wiss, and he has done this, I believe, 2, maybe 3 times previously. So he is really, really, really well versed in this course and has always received really great student feedback. Just a little bit more about this course. It's 6 weeks and 6 credits. Your first 3 weeks, you would be with just the UNC cohort taking Dr. Wiss's course. So you'd have probably 2.5 to 3 hours per day of class, typically Monday through Thursday. And then you would also have excursions outside of the class. As I mentioned, you've been going to plays, you'll be doing walking tours, everything related to your course. It'll be somewhat intensive for sure, but he's very much aware that you're there as a study abroad student to see London, to see the UK, to see Europe. So he doesn't want to break you, that's for sure. And in terms of this course, I think it's really fair, really balanced. And again, students have really enjoyed it in the past. So that'll be your first 3 weeks. For your second 3 weeks, you'll actually be enrolling in King's College London Summer School. This will be a little bit different because this is transfer credit. So with that first UNC course, it's what we call UNC graded credit. That means that just like taking a course on UNC's campus, except you're a couple thousand miles away, your second course will be transfer credit, which means if you get a C or above, the credit comes back to UNC and does not impact your GPA. If you get a C minus or lower, the credit will not come back to UNC and it would negatively impact your GPA. That second course at King's is often a really, really great spot for gen eds. And we do have those gen eds listed for their pre-approvals on our brochure page. So if you're interested in knocking out the psych course as well as some gen eds, do check out our program brochure. A couple more featured summer programs in the event that you're looking for psychology over the summer. For Asia, South Korea has two really great programs. I lived in South Korea for 2 years. I absolutely love Seoul. I think you'd have a really great time there. So please do consider Korea University and Yonsei. And then for Europe, we do have Denmark having quite a good program with DIS Copenhagen. You can go there for different sessions and they're quite flexible when it comes to their psychology coursework. In terms of our semester programs, for those of you who are looking for a little bit of a longer experience, first of all, awesome. I know not everyone has the time and flexibility to go for that long, but if you are able and considering it, I really do encourage you to do it because we can put you in a position to earn some psychology credits, but also just have a really fantastic semester abroad. So I don't need to read all of these programs just because you can see them, but just a couple of highlights in my region. Manchester is one of the best universities in Europe for psychology. Glasgow is also quite good. Again, we've got Korea and Yonsei and Seoul. So clearly they offer it in summer semesters. So those are some very strong programs as well. Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to the relevant regional advisor if you have any specific programs in mind, especially ones on this list. We'll be happy to give you more information. So just a little bit about academics and credit as we move forward. Obviously, this is a psychology presentation, right? So I'm here to tell you it is possible to get major, minor credit, but I also just want to walk you through a couple of other parts of the credit process here and just kind of make sure you're aware. So first of all, while you're abroad, yeah, you can earn lots and lots of different kinds of credit. So you can grab elective credit, general education credit. Every student gets EE on any of their study abroad programs, which is really great. And as I mentioned, you can get major, minor, or language requirements for your program. So this isn't just about psychology. You could go and study in Australia, take 4 courses, 2 of which are psychology, and then maybe take a language requirement, and then maybe knock out your WB general education requirements. So I'm here to tell you this is about psychology, but please don't just limit yourself to that because there's often some flexibility within your semester. Really important here though, before you kind of consider this further, do meet with your academic advisor. I would say I meet with many students who kind of think I'm an academic advisor. I'm not. I'm here to kind of point you towards programs that are quite good fits for you based on your academics and what you are telling me you want to do. However, I don't have a great picture of what your semesters look like. Like, what have you accomplished? What do you hope to accomplish? That's really your academic advisor. So in an ideal world, you would meet with an academic advisor, and then you would meet with me or one of our other 2 advisors in the office to just kind of go over some of the programs that we have on offer. In terms of figuring out, what kind of credit, sorry, I'm just gonna get this window quick. Very sunny. In terms of figuring out what kind of credit you can earn, we do have a list of pre-approvals, which is really, really great. But I do want to just tell you that this database is quite new. It's just a little bit over a year old. So the experience I've had with some students is they go to the pre-approval database, they're looking at a couple of universities and they don't see anything for psychology. And they say, oh my gosh, like nothing's pre-approved. I can't go there. I'm not going to get any credit. That's not really true. Just keep in mind, again, it's in its infant stages. Just because you don't see a lot of pre-approvals does not mean that you're going to be able to get psychology credits. The way it will typically work is if you don't have pre-approvals for that university, you will be able to submit a credit request form. So basically, once you're approved for your program, in your study abroad portal, there will be a link that you can click. And then in this link, you can put the coursework that you intend to take there. So that means you kind of go through the course catalog of the other institution, choose the courses that look good for you. They look like good equivalencies, and then you submit those for review. Those would go to the psychology department, or if you're talking gen eds, they would come back to the study abroad office and we would then review them before you head off. So it's not the end of the world. You're very, very likely to get feedback if you don't already have pre-approvals in the system. So again, please don't be put off if you don't find a ton of pre-approvals in the system. I assure you that we won't point you towards a bad university for your area of study. All right, everyone's favorite part, program costs. I'm here to tell you and acknowledge that, yeah, study abroad can be somewhat expensive. I fully get that. But one thing to definitely highlight is, hey, if you are going for a semester, just remember this. If you're an in-state student or out of state, there's a really cost-effective way for you to study abroad, okay? So you in-state students, if you wanna go for a semester, try to do an exchange program that allows you to pay your in-state tuition. And for you out-of-state students, try to go direct enroll and we can guide you through that. For direct enroll students, that'll mean you're actually paying quite a significantly cheaper amount than you typically would at UNC. So keep in mind it can be really cost effective, but again, I get that it's still extra, right? You'll be traveling. If you're doing a summer program, that's an additional cost that you typically wouldn't have. So please just know that we're here to support you. We have Sharon Beers, our financial aid coordinator. She would be happy to speak with you. So please do feel free to set up an appointment with her. Her email is listed right here. Again, I'm going to send out this presentation if you don't write that down. But pretty straightforward, just include some really basic information for her, talk about the programs you're interested in going on, and she can give you financial aid estimates. And then of course, there will be scholarships that you can apply for when you apply for your psychology programs as well. In most cases, basically the application cycle for your program application, it'll be the exact same for your scholarships. So the deadline for your program application will be the deadline for your scholarship application. All right, so just a little bit of information about how to apply. Again, pretty straightforward. I imagine many of you have actually already gone through quite a number of these steps. So I'm sorry if it's, on repeat for you, but I'll just walk through these really quickly. The first thing is attend a Study Abroad 101. Honestly, if you're here, you're already doing a great job of kind of seeking out that information. We really, really love that and appreciate that. So keep that up. If you haven't attended a Study Abroad 101, we do have some recordings online with our videos, and I do encourage you to check those out. Number two, do a little bit of research. I'm giving you a bit of a head start here, naming some summer programs and some semester programs that could be good fits, but hey, outside of that, again, there will be fits for you as well if you're interested in studying psychology. So do some research, meet with an advisor. And that's the next part. Meet with me, meet with Derek, meet with Caitlin, depending on where you're interested in going. We have a really good grasp of our regions. We don't always have the best grasp of outside regions. In some cases, we have a general grasp, but we are definitely experts in our own region and can absolutely help you. And keep in mind, there is no shame in meeting with multiple advisors. So if you want to meet with me and then Derek, that sounds great. If you want to meet with Derek and then Caitlin, that sounds great too. Next, you'll complete a HeelsAbroad study abroad application. We have 2 cycles, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a couple of slides, but it's really, really straightforward, honestly. So a lot of students often think that the HeelsAbroad application is super time consuming and it'll take days and weeks, and that's really not the case. If you sit down and focus on it, it doesn't have to take that long, and it's not something to stress about. So don't worry. Next, you may need to complete a host institution application. So this varies by program, and I will talk a little bit about this in the next couple of slides, but in some cases you do need to fill out a supplemental application, but please remember that your study abroad advisor will really fill you in on that, and they'll tell you exactly what you need to do. So don't feel like you don't know what's going on. If you need to do that part, your advisor will tell you. Next, you'll sign your contract. So you've applied, you've met with an advisor, you know you want to go in this program. Sign your contract, that commits you to the program. And then next, you'll attend your pre-departure orientation. So again, what's on an application? Programs led by UNC, it's really, really easy. So apply entirely in HeelsAbroad. So if you're going on a faculty-led program and the only course that you're taking is with a UNC faculty member, the only thing you need to complete is your HeelsAbroad application, which is really, really great, right? So super easy. Partner programs. An example of a partner program is the King's College London psychology study abroad program that we've been talking about and that was recommended. This is what we call a partner program. So on that program, you're taking a psychology course with a UNC faculty member, but you're also taking a course with the King's College London faculty, right? So this is a two-part application, and I would absolutely tell you exactly what you need to do. But again, just a very general overview. You do your Heels Abroad application, and then you'll also do some application materials for King's College London. Always, always, always apply to heelsabroad.unc.edu first, and then you will apply to your host. Never apply to your host and then to UNC. We should always be first, just so we can make sure everything's a go, and then we can move you on to the next step. In terms of requirements, we've actually really reduced requirements. So if you applied previously to study abroad, maybe a year ago, you probably noticed that there were letters of recommendation, perhaps 2 letters of recommendation. It was really hard for students, and honestly, really hard for faculty. We had a lot of students, especially in the COVID age, who didn't get to know their faculty members, right? Or their professors, and they were asking for letters of rec and they didn't even know each other. It was challenging. So we said, forget it. So what we require now is transcript, short answer questions, your $50 application fee, and then some disclaimers and waivers. A special shout out to the short answer questions, because we have eliminated those letters of recommendation, which sometimes told us some really valuable information. Short answer questions are really where you sell yourself. So if you are applying to a competitive program, let's say, for instance, that UNC Psychology at King's College London has 27 applicants and only 21 places available. That means 6 students will need to either be told they can't go or be rerouted to another program. So what determines who those 6 students are? Often it's the short answer questions. This is your opportunity to tell me why you are personally invested in this program. Academically, professionally, lay it all out there. We want to hear why you're excited about it. Of course, we want to hear about the class as well and why it's a good fit, but we just want to hear your story. And the more details you can provide and the more you show us that you've done a lot of research, the better chance your application has of being approved. But again, like I did briefly mention, if for some reason you are one of those students who is not approved for your first choice program, please know that we will work with you immediately to try to find you an alternative program. We won't just say, oh, you didn't get in, sorry, see you later. That's not how we work. We're always working to make sure that you can get on an alternative program if you want to do that. So for competitive programs, your advisor will let you know if they are. And just keep in mind, have 1, 2 backups in mind that you'd like to consider. Our application cycles. So applications open date and deadlines are the same, regardless of year. So for the summer, fall, and academic year, that actually just opened today. So November 15th, this is the beginning of our cycle, and that closes February 10th. I know for some of you fall and academic year students, you're like, that seems so early. I know, it's crazy, right? But summer is looped in there as well. So we do need to kind of do it now, and it rolls around a little bit faster than you think. So for those of you who are interested in summer, fall, academic year, your application is open now. And then for spring and calendar year cycle, that will open over the summer, probably July 1st, and it will close September 10th. There are some programs that may have like different dates. Your advisor should tell you about those, but most programs will live by these dates that are listed here. And just a couple of other considerations, you can only apply to 1 program at a time. Again, so if you've got a competitive program up here, but you're still considering other ones, that's okay. Just let your advisor know. We can take note of that. And then if something goes wrong, we can really just rely on that list that you provided. And I know students always ask too, like, oh, this program's competitive, but it's my top choice. Like, should I just go to an easier program? No, always apply to the program you really want to go to. Give it your best shot. And if for some reason it doesn't work, then again, we'll work with you. So always apply to your top program. And yeah, this last point here is also, I think, really important. Applying to a program is not the same as committing to a program. So if you open an application for DIS Copenhagen for summer and you are approved, but you're kind of on the fence, just because you're approved doesn't mean you're committing to the program. It doesn't mean you're on the hook for thousands of dollars. Now, if you sign your study abroad contract, that does put you on the hook for at least $925. So please, before you sign your study abroad contracts, think very clearly, talk with your family, talk with your friends. However, just applying to a program, getting approved for a program, that does not make you committed to a program. There's still some flexibility to back out if you aren't ready yet for study abroad. You probably already know this because you've navigated your way to Study Abroad Week. So thanks for signing up. But yeah, our website is a really wonderful resource. So we've kind of revamped it over the last 6 months. Mallory Minahan, our website guru, has done a really great job. So please feel free to go to our website and do as much research as possible because there is a lot of good information there. And let me know if you have any questions or concerns after that. And then slightly separate from that, HeelsAbroad. So again, I'm going to go back here. Our website is studyabroad.unc.edu. That's like the front facing where you get lots of really, really good information. But when you're really looking for a specific program and you want to run like a program search to see what might be a good fit for you in Germany or Denmark or South Korea or China, that's when you go to heelsabroad.unc.edu. This is really our back end, and this is our program database. So what I really, really recommend, I know this can be overwhelming. We have over 350 programs. This advice here on the slide is fantastic. Use the program search tool to explore new programs. In particular, our advanced search is really fantastic, and I'm going to show you a picture of what that looks like on the next slide, but that will be, I think, your best way to go. So looking here just really quickly, this is what it looks like when you're doing a program search on heelsabroad.unc.edu. And if you look to the top, you'll see that there's a list all, simple search, advanced search. Your best bet is probably an advanced search. This allows you to search by advisor, by individual countries, by term. You can search by cost of program. You can search by type of program, like if you want an internship instead of like a study program. You can search for only exchange programs if you're in state and want to have cost-effective programs. So just keep in mind, an advanced search is a really, really good tool for you. And it's a great way to find programs that are well suited for you as well. Yeah, a little bit about health and safety. Guess what? COVID-19 did not go away as quickly as we wanted it to, and it will not be gone for a while. I would be lying to you if I said otherwise, I think. That being said, study abroad is a thing now and will continue to be a thing. So just for your reference, we have study abroad students out now for fall. We are definitely sending spring 2022 students abroad, and summer is looking great as well for much of the world. So COVID is out there. Masks will be a thing for a long time. Following local safety and health guidelines will be really important for a long time. But we are being safe and we are being proactive and we are still finding ways to study abroad. So I'm just kind of here to say, like, yeah, study abroad does involve risk. If you go abroad in the next year and a half, COVID will likely still be something that we need to reckon with on a global scale. So just so you know, our office goes through UNC leadership to approve each and every program in each and every country. So what will occur for next summer, next fall, next academic year is our office will submit countries and programs for approval. Those will go to UNC leadership, and then they will review them and hopefully approve them. For the last 2 cycles, we've had every single country approved that we requested. So things are looking great for the future. We hope we continue to have that success rate, but please do keep in mind that COVID-19, it will be around for a while. Masks will be a thing for a while. You'll need to travel more carefully for a while. So I don't want to ignore that because it will be part of your experience probably, but it's still possible to have a really positive study abroad experience. Finally, just wrapping up here, please keep in mind that our social media is a really, really great tool for you to see who's abroad now. We have takeovers all the time. It's also a really good way for you to just learn a little bit more about what's going on with our office. We release a lot of good information. So please don't hesitate to follow us on social media, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Lots of cool things happening there. And yeah, this last point is also really great. Check out our website and FAQ for other updates. We've got a really, really great FAQ. It's got a lot of really great COVID-19 information in terms of, trying to help you with any questions or, fears you may have. So please do feel free to check that out. Okay, so we have gone through much of our psychology presentation. I know there's some general information in there as well, but at this point, I would really love to open up the floor to questions. Um, if you want to type them out, that's okay, but I think it would probably be a little bit easier if you do decide to just unmute yourself and ask. So now is the time. If you'd like to ask questions, please feel free to do so.
Hi, I was just wondering for the King's College program, do you have to be a declared psychology major or minor, or can you take that either way?
For that course, I don't believe you need to be. No. So just look at any prereqs or anything like that. But if you're in like the process of transitioning to a psychology major, or you just have a genuine interest in that course, and then you want to take the other King's course, I do think that's doable. If you are not a psychology major, we may show preference to psychology majors or minors, just kind of putting that out there, just because it is really important for them to get those requirements for their major or minor. However, this course could be open to non-psychology students. Okay, we've got a question here in the chat. No problem that you can't unmute. If we apply, the question is, if we apply through UNC for a program and don't get it, will we have to wait for the following year to apply again, since the deadline is set in February and you can only apply for one at a time? So basically what occurs is, if you have one program you're really set on and you aren't admitted for that program, we will immediately work with you to find alternative programs. However, if you are dead set on that one program and you are not offered a place, then yes, you would need to look to the following year. But again, in many cases, there are a number of good programs out there for you, so we will work with you to kind of sort that out. But yeah, if you're really set on one program, you will need to wait for the following year if you're not offered a place. Okay, we've got another question here. I really want to study abroad in Italy, but it doesn't look like there are any psychology programs there. Do I need to start looking at other countries, or is there a workaround to this? Yeah, that's a great question. I understand that sometimes it's really hard to navigate the website and to figure out exactly where some really good psychology programs are. So I just wanted to let you know that your first step might be to meet with your study abroad advisor. So for Italy, that would be Caitlin Brown Gomez. She's a really great resource. And even though it might not seem on the surface that there are any psychology credits that you could earn in Italy, that may not be the case. So when you set up an appointment with Caitlin, just be sure to clearly state when you set up that appointment that you want to talk about psychology and you want to learn more about any potential psychology opportunities in Italy. I would love to give you more information. I don't advise for Italy, but Caitlin will be a really great resource for you. Okay, next question. Can international students apply? How does that visa work? Yes, international students can apply for these programs, absolutely. In terms of the visa process, we do rely on international students to really complete their own research. As you know, every country will likely have a different visa process, but international students are absolutely permitted to take part on UNC study abroad programs. But we do ask that you complete your own research when it comes to the visa, because you will be responsible for taking those actions. Next question. Is there a way to search for programs by major minor on the study abroad advanced search other than just hoping psychology is the program name? Yeah, there should be a subject area that you can search. Although I will tell you this isn't always terribly effective, but when you do an advanced search, you should be able to go down to subjects and you should be able to choose a specific subject. There will be definitely some programs that populate. It won't be all of them, but that could be a really good start for you in terms of your search. You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you learned a little bit more about the potential to study psychology abroad. Again, I want to state that I understand it can be a little bit overwhelming when you see how many programs we have and you're really looking to get major credit. But do trust in the process of meeting with your advisor to kind of go through these steps. Choose a region of the world and then go from there. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I will be happy to answer any questions you've got. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.